All right, audio check. Yep, looks like we're recording. So hey, um, I've got this project, the Rake Field Manual. It's a book project that I started a couple of years ago, and then kind of had to put it on hold because I had more pressing concerns. I'm trying to revive it right now, kind of the second attempt at reviving it, and one of the things that I want to do as part of that is I want to create a new website for it. I've made a business decision to base all of my content websites on WordPress going forwards for various reasons that I'm not going to go into right now. But this means that I want to create a WordPress site for this. And in the past, I would have just provisioned a new WordPress site on my host. By the way, if you hear a bunch of racket in the background, that's my 2-year-old. But this time around, I'm going to try to be a little bit more disciplined about it as I become slightly more competent in WordPress. So this time I'm going to create a local development site in a virtual machine and a set of directories locally. And then I'm going to see if I can create something like a moderately disciplined kind of deployment scenario with it. So local first, then public site, which means I need to provision a WordPress site and all the stuff that goes with it. And there are a few different ways of doing this locally. After trying several of them, I've kind of settled on using the methods that involve virtual machines to just sort of isolate everything. So you've got like one like black box that has all the things in it that you can turn on and off, and it doesn't affect anything else. And the project that I've had the most luck with for doing this is VCCW. So I'm going to download the zip file and open it up, and it's just a tiny little zip file. It's just basically it's a vagrant. It's a set of vagrant configuration, I guess, is the way to put it. All right, so I've got these files here. Now I need a place to put this. I've already got a directory for my book project, but I need a new site directory for the WordPress site that I'm going to be able to build. So we'll make that. And then I'm just going to grab all this stuff. I'm going to put it over here. And before I go any further, one thing I want to do is I want to customize this a little bit. So I'm going to go into the default.yml. That didn't work right. I'm not going to debug why that didn't work right. I'm just going to open a different editor. By the way, full disclosure here, these are supposed to be like pretty much raw live coding videos, and they're supposed to document the problem solving process and all that stuff for anybody who cares. I actually have some practice doing what I'm doing now because I tried to film this earlier over the last few days, and I ran into so many interruptions that the footage was unusable. So I'm doing this again. I've got a little bit of practice, so I'm going a little bit faster than I normally would. Don't worry, I'll bog down pretty soon. Anyway, before I provision this new local site, I want to customize its name. I'm going to call it RFM Dev. That's RFM is in the Rake Field Manual. I'm also going to increment this IP address, this default local IP address, because I've already got another machine that's using that one. So RFM Dev, IP is that. And I also want to customize the name of the local. Oh, and you know what? I've already screwed up. So let me undo that. What I need to do here is I need to do a save as. And I need to go up a directory, up a level, and this needs to be saved in order to customize the VCCW configuration. This needs to be saved as site.yml. All right, now let's try that again. Where was I? Ah, yes. rfm-dev, increment this, and go down here and change the sync folder name to, I'm going to give it the name, the local sync folder, the local folder that should be synced to the var www.html folder in the virtual machine is going to, I want to give it the name of the actual website that this is going to eventually become, which is rake.build. So I'm going to save that. And and hop back up to this directory. All right, so I think that's all the customization that I need to do for right now. Now I'm going to open up a prompt inside here, and I am going to cross my fingers and I'm going to do a vagrant up. Now, if this works, it's going to take a while. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave this recording running, and I'm going to go run an errand. And through the magic of post-production, you're probably going to see what comes next vastly sped up. So talk to you later. All right, I'm back, and it looks like I messed something up. Looks like I failed to delete the remains of a box that was already there from my previous attempt. So let me fix that real quick. So the question is, why isn't VirtualBox responding? There it is. All right, let's get rid of this old box. So that was only semi-successful. It looks like it got rid of the box, it just didn't get rid of the disk. Well, the disk is something I can get rid of on my own time. Oh, I see. This might be the problem. There are two of them open. Let's see. Where's that media manager? All right, gotta say VirtualBox. Calling all of your disks box disk 1 isn't terribly clear. Well, I don't want to delete that one. Oh, I don't know what's going on. All right. Anyway, this should be enough to get back to bringing this machine up. Now what's the problem? Could not rename the directory blah 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 to this other name to save the settings file. Error already exists. All right, clearly I need to go into my VirtualBox VMs directory. And do some manual deletion here. And something is using that. I wonder what's keeping me from deleting that. I mean, yeah, I could just go and give this a new name, but honestly, I want to understand what's going on here because I don't want to have to run into this again. Well, I guess the first thing I can do is just look to see if there are any VirtualBox processes still running somewhere. Quite a few of them. Alright, I don't think I have any good way of taking these down cleanly, so I'm just going to kill them off. And let's try this again. Aha! That was it. Alright. Vagrant up. Oh, you know what? Hang on a second. Bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. Alright, well, I was going to interrupt it and update the, do a Vagrant box update first, but looks like the interrupt didn't go through, and I don't feel like interrupting it right in the middle of provisioning, because that just seems like a bad idea. So I'm just going to let it go, and I'm sure there's some way, well, I hope there's some way of updating the box later on. I don't know. That'd be something to find out. Anyway, this is the part that should take a while, in my experience. We'll see. But probably won't take a while for you, because if it takes a long time, I'll just speed it up in the video. I'm going to get rid of some of these distracting other windows. And yeah, okay. Let's keep that open. What's that key combination for full screening this? Huh! Nailed it on the first try. Alt-Enter. Spiffy. Alright, so here we are again, somewhat later. And it looks like everything has provisioned successfully. Maybe. Only one way to find out. Gonna fire up a browser. We're gonna go to http://rfm dev. All right, there we go. This is the brand new, I think, 2017 theme for WordPress that comes with WordPress 4.7. We've got our hello world here, got a brand new site. So it looks like that worked out okay. Let's see if we can admin this thing. All right, and VCCW sets up some defaults for this. I want to say it's just admin, maybe. Yeah, okay. All right, so I want to start out by just get into making this sort of real as quickly as possible. At least in a provisional kind of way. So let's see, what... Let's just do this way. There we go. See, this is what you don't see when I do heavily edited screencasts. All the moments where I just completely lose my train of thought. What was I doing? Alright, stuff. So this book has content. Not a lot, but it has some. And I'm just going to grab one of the chapters here. You can see this has a .org suffix. That's because I use Emacs org mode for writing all of my stuff. Emacs wasn't running, so it's taking its sweet time to start up. Usually I just keep Emacs around, keep an instance running, so it just pops up a new window when I open new stuff. People say, how can you stand having an editor that takes so long to boot up? Well, how can you stand having a computer that has to boot up? Normally, it's just the operating system. Boot it up once and keep it running for the whole time. But it wasn't running, so that took a little while. All right, so we have a chapter here, and I'm just going to do an HTML export first. Body only. I don't want to have all the boilerplate HTML around it. I just want the body. Export scope is going to be the current buffer, and I'm going to do HTML just as a buffer, not as a separate file. Copy everything in there, and I'm going to go to Pages, Add New, and I'm going to switch over to Text View because I've copied HTML text. Now we've got some divs that org mode puts in there. I think I'm just going to leave them be for now. Okay, so this looks okay. We've got code samples. There's something ironic about manually performing a process that involves the text automated process. Check that out. Well, I can see one thing I'm going to have to deal with pretty early on, and this is something I already deal with in some of my other automation, which is we've got hard line breaks in here, and WordPress by default doesn't really deal well with hard line breaks. But actually, I want to try something. There's something that I've been wanting to try out, and it is I want to experiment with the feasibility of making my interchange format be Markdown instead of HTML. I'm sort of dubious about that. I know a lot of people love Markdown as an interchange format for article type content or book content. I have mixed experience with it because there's just so little opportunity for annotating documents with invisible metadata the way you can with HTML, with like classes and divs and all kinds of stuff like that. That's just not as available, not as readily available in Markdown. But that said, I am kind of interested. I don't know. I want to see how feasible it is. So I'm going to go to plugins, and all right, so it looks like Jetpack is not installed yet. I'm going to go to Add New. Jetpack, there's this plugin, if you're not familiar with WordPress development, there's this plugin called Jetpack, and it's really kind of a meta plugin. It throws together a bunch of sort of essentials, basic stuff that you would get if you got a WordPress.com account, but doesn't come out of the box with the default WordPress distribution. And it's created and maintained by the Automatic people that run WordPress.com. Kind of a grab bag of stuff. Some of it is stuff to like tie you into the WordPress.com ecosystem, which is, don't necessarily want to turn that stuff on, but one thing that this does contain, I happen to know that it contains, is support for Markdown. And I am not aware of any better Markdown plugin for WordPress these days. It's taking its sweet time to install. right, well, it's doing that. Whoops. Well, it's doing that. Do I have... All right, I don't have GitHub flavored Markdown export support turned on. So let's... load library GFM AuxGFM. And now I should be able to do CE, body only, G, capital G. There we go. Markdown. Not just any Markdown, GitHub flavored Markdown. So we got code fences, stuff like that. Copy that. Let's go back here, activate Jetpack. Jetpack settings. Okay, it looks like, here we go. It looks like everything is turned off by default, which is good. I was a little worried about that. Looks like everything's off by default. I'm going to switch this one on, and I'm going to go back to my page and edit and text. Oh, this is nice. So it looks like one thing that was changed. One thing that is different about this is when I exported to Markdown, it unfilled the paragraphs automatically. So we got rid of all those hard line breaks. So that might bode well. We'll see. Also, okay, so I was talking about how HTML has all this has this ability for all this embedded metadata, and sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. And one of the reasons I'm thinking about using Markdown as a interchange format is, you notice I don't have to deal with any of the the divs that org mode added by default in here. I don't have to think about maybe stripping those out or anything because it's Markdown. It doesn't really have that concept, and so this is a very sort of vanilla export of my text. This is interesting. So visual mode doesn't look so great for Markdown. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and preview these changes. I think this is working. Update. View the page. It does look like it worked. Mostly. Except not. Look at this. This is nasty. We have no... surely in the original we had some indentation there. Yeah, this has indentation. All right, where did we lose the indentation? Yick. All right, that's, well, it's not good, but did we lose it? Oh, we didn't lose it here. Oh, I'll bet I know where we lost the indentation. I'll bet it was just when I flipped over to visual mode. Heh. Gotta be careful of that. Yep, there's the indentation back. Okay, so lesson learned. If we're going to do Markdown, we got to stay in text mode, which I kind of hate doing. Because I actually like doing things visually. I know that some people would say that makes me a bad programmer. No, but seriously, update. All right, so we got our indentation now. That's good. Kind of curious about this. Does this actually carry? Hey, look at that. Code class equals Ruby. So that's kind of a big deal. That says that it's going to carry those the code class of those fence code blocks forward in a way that we can potentially hook into like a JavaScript syntax coloring library later on. All right, so this is a mostly successful proof of concept, I'd say. I think this is probably a good stopping point for now. Yeah, I think so. All right, till next time.